Hello and welcome to another video. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about cleaning and looking after cast iron, because this is something that a lot of people feel lost about, and there's a lot of information out there. But this is the approach that I use, not necessarily saying it's the only method or there's 101 ways to care for cast iron, but essentially the idea is to remove the bits that you don't want on there, the stuck burnt food, and then keep it dry and rust free for the future. Today we're going to be looking at cleaning these waffle irons. So if you're interested in watching the video where I use these, I'll leave a link up above in the cards. But the same principles can apply if you've got a cast iron pot, cast iron pan, basically anything cast iron using. So I'm just going to guide you through the process, start to finish, what I think about, why I do the things that I do, and how I work with the Campfire to make sure I have a clean and ready to use cast iron implement, tool or pot for the next session or outing. The first principle is that ideally you want to work with the cast iron while it's still warm. So once you've finished cooking a meal, you can give it a couple of minutes while you make a start, but ideally you want to get the process rolling as quickly as possible while the cast iron is still warm. You can, of course, if the session demands it, just leave it as is, let it cool down, and then just take the whole thing home with you and deal with it. But I find campfires are particularly well suited to cleaning cast iron. So if you can do it in the field, it will save time, energy, and you'll get better results. So first of all, make sure it is still warm. As I said, all of the rest works better. Second thing, and this is a good principle to have whenever you are doing any sort of outdoor cooking, is always have some hot water on the go, because we can use the hot water to release some of the food stuck to the bottom of a pan or onto a waffle iron, and just clear a lot of it away, and we can make a lot of good use of it. But you don't want to be going onto a hot pan with cold water. So we want to have the water warming up at least to a lukewarm temperature, and not then pour it straight onto a really brutally hot piece of cast iron, because that's how you break cast iron pots. So while the pot's still on the fire or it's still warm, still got a little bit of heat, first thing I usually do is just give it a little hit of hot water. This will often be enough to take off the majority of what's on there. So hot water just loosens everything up. It works particularly well if you're, as I said, going onto warm cast iron. The next thing you need to do is take a look and see whether there are any bits that are still stuck on. They are rather more stubborn. And then have a look at getting those off. Now the best tools you can find for that are a chainmail scrubber. These are really handy, and a pot scraper, a plastic scraper, so really thin scraper. These work really well at getting into the angles and just loosening the bits that are stuck on. These kind of work slightly better with pots and pans. You swirl it around while the water's still in there, using almost like a paste method. So you're creating a scrubbing solution. So the water will loosen it. It'll help lubricate the chainmail as it goes over. And we just go give it the scrub, loosen all of the bits. And now this is why you want to have a campfire available, because while it's still warm and while you've poured warm water on it, there's still a little bit of water residue left. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pop it straight back on the fire. And there, have a look at this one. Give another burst of hot water, coming with a card. And for the majority of cast iron, that will be all you need to do, whereas you will end up scrubbing and working a lot harder if you leave it until it's cold and dried on and it gets home. Now once we've got rid of all of the surface moisture, which shouldn't take long if it was still warm when you added the hot water, once you've popped it back on the fire, if the fire's still got a decent amount of heat, then it should dry out really quickly. And now we want to add a layer of oil to act as a barrier for any moisture that gets introduced while it's in storage or transit. So this is the part of the process a lot of people call re-seasoning or seasoning, and it's handy just to have that barrier of oil. Now if you were to just leave that oil on there and store it longer term, it may well go rancid. But if it's kind of in and out on a weekly basis, I wouldn't worry too much about it. You can just take this off the fire now, and the coating will just start to season when you heat it up for the next activity. But if you're looking to leave it longer, or if you want better results, you want to keep the fire going up until all of it, and up until it starts to smoke, and once we've heated up that oil and we've baked in the seasoning, once the oil starts smoking, then you want to come in with some paper towels or a rag or something and just take off as much of the excess. If it's still quite hot, it might be worth using a pair of tongs to hold this. It minimises the chance of burning yourself on the hot cast iron. But we just want to take off any large pools of oil. And this is also sometimes a good chance with this rag to then coat the outside, because the outside of your pot or pan often doesn't get seasoned very well. So it's good to just have a coating on the outside as well if you've got lots of spare oil to go. Then once you've taken off the residue, then we can put it back together again, take it off the fire somewhere and leave it to cool down. And that in essence is it. Really simple. Get some hot water in it, scrape it with a scraper or with some chainmail, let it dry, give it a little coat of oil, wipe off the excess oil, and you're ready to go. And that will keep your cast iron in good condition for a long time. As I said, it works better if you incorporate it into the flow of things. So when you're dishing up food, rather than leaving the food in the pot, I'd encourage you to, when you're getting kind of to the end and where you're not sure whether people are going to have second portions or not, scoop it out, put it in another pot, put it in another bowl or something, tuck it underneath a fire pit, keep it warm in some foil, something like that, and then get some hot water straight into that pot. Then when you have a moment, as you're kind of clearing up after eating, just give a swirl around with the chainmail scrubber, dump the water out, leave it to dry on the fire, and then you can go and do other stuff, coming back just to give it a quick coat and then get it off the fire once it's smoking. And that will do nicely for most cast iron. It's not that onerous compared to getting it home, getting your sink full of sooty marks and so on. I find it's just better to work with the heat here, because you do need to come back into the process of heating it up several times. Because if you're starting with a cold pot, you are going to struggle a bit more to get things off. But hit of hot water into a warm pan does wonders straight out. A little bit of scraping if it needs it, often doesn't, and then straight back on the fire to dry out works brilliantly. You can do a similar thing with an oven. So if you're doing it at home, I just drop some warm water in, give it a bit of a scrape around, empty the water out, pop it straight in the oven, pull out of the oven halfway through, so say 10 10 minutes or whatever, give it a quick coat of oil, back in for another 5-10, and then once it starts smoking, pull it out. And that's pretty much done. But you do end up smoking out your kitchen a little bit, so doing it out of the campfire just makes sense if you have the time and ability to do it that way. There you go. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you so much for Wellness Woodlands for allowing me to film on their site here and making all of this possible. If you're looking for a quite peaceful campsite out in the Kidderminster Bewdley area, just a spitting distance from the Wyre Forest and the Severn Valley Railway, then do check them out. There's a link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll catch you all next time.